Welcome, everybody. My name is Doug, and we are reasoning from the scriptures with Doug. And today we're going to talk about who is God. It's such an important subject. I know everybody has their own conceptions of God, and so do I. So we're just going to talk about just some basic things. We can't cover everything there is to know about God, that's for sure. So we begin. We'll only need 10 minutes. Let's see if we can do this 10 minutes and we can take that time to deal with the subject of who is God on a basic level. So where do we start? We're going to share, let me share my screen. So in Genesis 1:1, here we go. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So the first thing we want to talk about is this word beginning. We know that this isn't the beginning of all things. What we're seeing is a record here of the creation of the universe. The universe is described here as the heavens and the earth. Why is the earth separate from the heavens? Is heavens separate from the earth? No, it's the same thing. It's the universe. However, we are going to key in on one thing, the earth. And he begins to tell you what about the earth that he wants to let us know. The earth was this, and he talks about this restoration of the earth. However, because the earth is here, but our focus is this beginning here. The beginning is not the beginning of God. It's just the beginning of the creation of the universe. And that is a huge thought for us because that's the beginning of time. Before that, we even talk about eternity past. But when? We can't say when. All we do is we relate eternity. We could say eternity past or eternity future. But time is the beginning. And when he created the universe, the time clock began. That's what we could say. But this verse is clearly telling us the beginning. Now, it's not the beginning of God, because God is the one who created the heavens and the earth. If God is the one who created it, then there must have been a plan. It was not randomly. God didn't wake up one day and just say, hey, I think I'll decide to create some things. How about that? No, that's not what happened. There's a plan. And there are other scriptures that confirm this. Now, we won't get into the plan of God today and all of that, but we just want to establish a few things here. So God created the heavens and the earth, which is the universe. Let's go to John. John is another passage. I think that helps us. John 1. We're going to jump around a little bit, so stay with me. So in John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So now we're back to this in the beginning. Now, how do we know that John is talking about the same beginning that Genesis was talking about? Because guess what we have in verse 3? Through him, through this word, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. Now, you think, is Jesus God, or what's going on here? Because, I jumped the gun and put Jesus in there, but I will go to 14. The word became flesh. Here it is, and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory. The glory is the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. So this word who came into the human race is Jesus Christ. Right? This is not a surprise. Many people know this. It's not like a novel or anything. But I'm just letting you know, we're putting a few things together here. The beginning was the word. Now notice, it didn't say the beginning was this beginning was the beginning of the word. It says was. So he previously existed. He was already there, and then the word was again with God. So this all preceded the creation of all things. There were two personalities here. We have God, or the God. He was with the God, and it doesn't say the, but in the Greek it does. And the word was God, no definite article. He's not the same as the one here. God is referring to the nature. The word and the God is referring to person. So all of this through him, right? So obviously we talked about a plan, but through him all things were made. Without him there was nothing that has been made. So the word, as we said, became flesh. We know him as Jesus. He came into this world. We call that the incarnation. But just look at 1:18. There's another thought here. No one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father. Notice, who is himself God. So who are we talking about? The Son. We talk about the Son, but people always say, oh, he's just the Son of God. He was created. He was like we have sons. But no, we're talking about that same person that was right here in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. Through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. So these are just some basics of thought when we think about who is the Word. Now, there's another key verse in this that might be nice to look at. It will be in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 3. This is how we come to know these things. Now, you might say these are facts, but do you believe these facts, or do you believe in the evolution theory? Do you believe that God is the originator of the universe? Do you believe that? How do we know that? Well, we only know that by faith. In Hebrews 11:3 says, by faith we understand that the universe, there it is, was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what is visible. God is invisible. We can't see God, but he made the physical universe, and it is vast. We cannot even think in terms of what we can't see. There's no way we can even see the end of it, but we do know that God created this, and it is finite. At some point, right now, we're like an ant in the world, but I don't even know if is the right scale, but it is huge. And God created this, and then he focuses in on earth. So that's something to know. And then, do we have more time to talk about more? Yeah, so let's get into this last, well, it's not last, we'll hurry. Isaiah, there's some more to know about God so that we can level set. Isaiah 55, we're going to look at verses 8 and 9. For God says this, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. How much is just a little bit off, or maybe slightly? No, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways and higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So it's not even close. So this is something that, why is it that God created us, but we don't think like him? We're different from him, and vastly different. It's because of what we know is the bad news. It happened. There are some things that happened. We're going to have to get to it, because the way man thinks and how we came to be through Adam and so forth and so on, I know I'm jumping ahead, causes us to think differently. We need to level set. So the God who did all this, who created all things, he's not like us. Very different from who we are. And we need to recognize that. So if we want to learn about him, we have to do it by faith, as we already saw. We can't. Faith means we are looking outside of ourselves to understand. By faith, we understand. How do we know? Because it's in the Word. God created the heavens and the earth, the universe. That's how we know faith. We don't know because we've examined some rocks or ancient civilizations or any of that. We know by faith that God did this. And there's some more ways to understand that you can look at the heavens and really realize that it demands a creator. And that creator is God as we know him. And then John 1:1 talks about more. In the beginning was the Word, Word was. So now we know two persons through the Word, or who we know came into the human race as Jesus Christ. Well, there's a lot more to talk about that. But he's the one who created all things. We're going to get to more next time as we're out of time. All right. We'll continue with this thought. Stay tuned. We're going to get to more thoughts and reasoning from the scripture with Doug.